Alright guys, today we're here to do a review on the JBL Pulse 4 speakers. Now, I actually have two of these here for you guys, so we're going to be able to test out the party mode feature that this thing has. We're going to take a look at the lighting, obviously the sound quality, how long the battery life is, all that stuff we're going to take a look at here. So let's go ahead and get into the review.
Gaming tech, eating brekkie is the gaming tech. Going for a recce is the gaming tech. Gaming techie is the gaming tech. Gaming techie.
Alright guys, so here we are with the JBL speaker. So you can see here, it is a 360 speaker, it has 360 sound. And you can see here that it has different buttons on each side. So you can see here is the power button, this is the Bluetooth, so you can actually pair it. And this is the party mode feature we're going to be talking about here in a minute. And then here you can adjust the actual brightness of the lighting effects. Here is your volume up, play button, and volume rocker. So let's go ahead and power this thing on. So you can see we have this thing powered on here. You can see the cool effects that it's giving off, and it really feels like it's going through the whole entire speaker. It's really cool because of how that shows there like that all around the actual speaker. Now this JBL speaker weighs at about 3 pounds, so it's actually a pretty heavy device. When you pick it up and hold it, you kind of think that you're holding a pretty heavy device. So it's not something you're going to bring around portably very easily, like in a bag or something. I mean, you could, but it is kind of heavy. Like I said, weighing in at 3 pounds. And also, you can see, you can kind of tell in the video that it's very fingerprint prone. You can kind of see that on the glass already. You're always going to be wiping this thing down to actually clean, because of, you know, how fingerprint prone it actually is. And then, of course, here at the top, this is the driver. It sits here at the top. It does 360 sounds. So you put this in the center of the table, and it kind of gives you that overview sound that's going in all directions. So that is where the driver sits there. So let's go ahead and play some music out of this so we can see and test out what the actual audio quality is like. We're going to pump this up to 50% volume. So let's pump this up now to full volume. So let's pause that here for a second. So yeah, you guys can see that it really does it really good as far as the 360 sound that it advertises, and it does have really high volume. It really could fill a room without any issues, where you're not going to have any issues with people hearing the music or anything like that. It really sounds good. And then, of course, you also got to talk about the actual lighting effects, which is what makes this speaker, you know, is what it is, what everyone talks about when this speaker comes about. So you kind of saw a little bit before some of the cool effects it does is that when you raise the volume, even if I use the raise the volume here on the top and lower it, you can see that it's actually lowering the volume by also showing you the actual, it actually shows you the actual effect there with the light, which is really cool. But not only that, you can also come in here and you can change the light, and you can, I believe, change the light right on the actual unit, by cycling this light button. So you can see that there is 5 different effects that it stays on. This one's really cool. This is like the campfire theme. And I believe this is the equalizer one, which is really cool. Let me put the music back on for a second so you guys can kind of see what the equalizer looks like. Let's put this back down at 50% so you guys can still hear me. So there's some cool stuff with the equalizer stuff. I really like that when it sits back there and equalizes to the music. So that's really cool. And then of course we have the party mode feature, or the party boost, as I believe what they actually refer to it as. So since we have two speakers, if I bring the other speaker in here, both connected via Bluetooth, if I power this one on, and for the sake of having some fun, we'll leave them different colors, but we will try and pair both of these. I paired that one. They're looking for each other. Seems like they're both paired. Yeah, so there's some cool lighting effects on there, and you can go in and, like I said, there's 5 presets on here, so you can even go ahead and customize the whole entire thing. And you can even take a picture with your phone of anything that's in your room. Like if I took a picture of this table and wanted to get this exact red to match this because I was going to put it on the table, you can go ahead and take a phone and take a picture of anything you want, and it's going to mimic the exact color. And it actually surprisingly does a really good job as far as matching the color of what you're taking a picture of to what's actually displayed on this light effect. So they did a solid job with the light effects. But I think that's a pretty good overview of the actual speakers themselves. Let me tell you about let's go to the table again, and let me talk to you about the battery life and the actual quality of the sound that you guys just heard and things like that, because it's obviously a little hard to make out when you're just listening to it, you know, through your phones or anything like that right now. So let's go ahead and get to the table and talk about it. All right, guys, so that was a quick overview on what these speakers are like. I'll give you a little bit of the sound quality and show you guys some of the effects that this thing can actually do. So, some of the positives, obviously, that I felt about with these speakers is the sound quality is amazing on these speakers. Even just the one speaker alone really does fill a room, and you have even at full volume, it has no distortion or anything like that. It really sounds really, really well. I don't know how, obviously, it's not going to come off perfectly with me recording the audio for you guys to hear, but trust me, the speakers sound really, really, really good, and really do fill up a room and has a really a good amount of bass and all that you expect that you would want out of one of these speakers, and it really excels at that. And of course, the lighting effects are really awesome. That's the reason why I wanted it. You guys can see here that there's like a little setup here in the corner. That's my drop mix setup. If you guys have heard about that board game, if you haven't, look for the review on my channel. These are perfect speakers to kind of sit there and play, because that is like a music-driven game, and just the sound effects with the equalizer and stuff while people are putting cards down and playing that game just really adds to when they're playing that game, and they have a lot of fun looking at the cool effects. So that was one of the reasons what drove me to it. And the lighting effects really do a really good job. The equalizer and stuff, seeing it bounce up and down is really cool, fun to look at and stuff like that. And then, of course, the 360 sound effect is the other main reason I got it as well, because we're sitting at a board game table here, and I need a Bluetooth speaker when we're playing games like Werewolf or something like that, that requires, you know, an audio device to work with an iPad or something if we need it. And this is great to put in the center of the table, and since it has 360 sound, everybody at the table can actually hear it, so it just works really well for that. And then the other one, the reason I got two, was because one lives in here, and one's actually in my arcade room, because it fits perfectly with the vibe of the arcade room, which you guys will see at the end of this month when I do the full arcade room tour, so look forward to seeing that. So I really like the lighting effects, the sound quality is amazing. Some of the negatives that come across with these speakers is, that we talked about before, is of course the fingerprint. It's obviously a little bit of a fingerprint magnet. It is 4.2 Bluetooth. It is not 5.0, so I wish they did 5.0 just for future proofing, but 4.2 still did really well in my house. When I was walking around my whole entire first floor, never got any issues here at all. When I walked to the second floor, I only had issues in one corner spot. Everywhere else that I went to, it didn't cut out or anything. When I did reach a corner, it did eventually cut out. And there was a lot of distortion, obviously, when playing the music, but it was just that one spot, and most of the time when I want to be listening to these speakers, I'm going to just be in this basement, so it really doesn't matter. But with Bluetooth 5.0, obviously the range would be a little bit longer, but 4.2 is still good, and I haven't had any issues with it, but just keep that in mind that it is what's on here. And there is no assistant either. Some of these speakers usually come with like Siri or like Google Assistant or something like that. These do not have that at all. And also, you can only pair one device at a time to these speakers, a limitation of 4.2 as well. You can only pair one device at a time, so you can't have your friends all pair their phones and play a song. You're going to have to pair them one at a time, so just another one of those things to keep in mind. When you pair them both together with a stereo sound, that sounded really good as well. Tried to show you guys as best as I could on that, but having two speakers is definitely fun to have the environment going. It definitely obviously works really well. There's no lag or anything like that, so I was really impressed with how easy that was to connect. That was the first time I did it on camera with you guys. I hit those sync buttons for the first time, never did it before, and you saw it work seamlessly with no issues. So really happy about that. The battery life on this thing, I ran these and it runs about 14 to 14 and a half hours at 50% volume is about what you're going to get. So that's pretty solid as far as what I would want it for, and I think what most comparable speakers are out there, especially with the lighting effects. 14 hours with these lighting effects at 50% volume, which is what I had it on in the video for the first part of that, is really solid in my opinion. And also they are waterproof as well, up to it is up to 3.3 feet. It could be submerged underwater for 30 minutes, so that's good in case you ever drop it anywhere like that. One of the other things to note with these speakers is that it does use USB-C cable on the back, so that's good because we're all obviously converting to USB-C. So it makes it really easy and convenient to go in there and just plug in any USB-C cable that we're all starting to use for everything. And you could just plug it in and it will charge with no issues. So that's on there as well. And the only other negative thing I can think of on here is the 3.5mm jack. There actually is none on here. There is no 3.5mm jack to connect your phone. It is literally all Bluetooth. But my overall conclusions about this, if you're looking for a Bluetooth speaker that is basically some flash and you want to show some flash and that's what you're looking for, which is the one thing I was looking for. I wanted a cool speaker that showed showed the lighting effects for that setup over there and for the arcade room. These do a really good job, but on top of that, the sound quality on this is really, really good. Like I said, they're amazing. Even one by itself is really good. As long as you're okay with not having, digital assistant on here, and are okay with not having the 3.5mm jack, and you're okay with just Bluetooth 4.2, then these speakers, like I said, go into it first because you want the lighting effects and the sound quality, and you're gonna really enjoy what this is. I mean, I obviously got the speakers for the lighting effects, but the sound quality is just as good, and I'm really happy with the quality of these speakers. This is my first JBL speaker I've ever owned. I never owned anything from them before, and these were my first ones. I got these on sale at Best Buy for $199 each. I believe they go for $250 standard. I was able to get them $199 during Black Friday deals and the Christmas season. So I'm really happy with these, and I'm really happy with how cool the lighting effects are and stuff like that. If you guys have any questions about anything we talked about or anything I may have missed with these speakers and you want to know about, as always, leave it down below. If not, thank you guys for watching. Till next time.
Tech, gaming techie is the gaming tech, gaming techie, gaming tech. Eating brekkie is the gaming tech, going for a recce is the gaming tech, gaming techie is the gaming tech, gaming techie.